Germany says that it will arrest Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu if he enters the country because of the current warrant for his arrest, or the soon to be issued likely warrant for his arrest for war crimes. The spokesman for German Chancellor Olaf Scholz confirmed that Germany would comply with the International Criminal Court and arrest uh, while the warrant is active. As long as there's an active warrant for Netanyahu and presumably Yoav Gallant, his defense minister, he said, quote, "We abide by the law." Now, just to give you a context, earlier this week, prosecutors from the International Criminal Court announced that they were seeking arrest warrants for Israeli leaders, along with Hamas leaders, for war crimes and crimes against humanity in Israel and Gaza. Of course, we know at least 35,800 Palestinians have been killed and more than 80,000 have been hurt since Hamas's attack on Israel in October 7th, which resulted in the death of 1,139 Israelis. And so right now, just for y'all understanding, there is no arrest warrant for Netanyahu. There is no arrest warrant for the Hamas leaders. There is no arrest warrant for Yoav Gallant. But what Prosecutor Khan has done is fill out an application for those arrest warrants. Those arrest warrants now sit at the feet of 3 judges. Those 3 judges can make a determination about whether or not to issue the arrest warrant. If the arrest warrant is issued, and that takes a while. In the case of Vladimir Putin, it took about a month to decide. In the case of Bashir, it took 8 months to decide. Omar al-Bashir took like 8 months to decide. But once the court decides, now you really out there. And as a president, you can get arrested. I mean, there were moments where Vladimir Putin almost got arrested. There's moments where Bashir almost got arrested. Now, sometimes countries will say, well, you know, it's a big event. It's a conference. It's something where we need world leaders. We give you our guarantee we won't arrest you. That's what happened to Bashir. And he took his behind to Africa. And the courts and the police said, well, no, if you might get these handcuffs. And he had to scurry out in the night and make it back home. So please understand, the International Criminal Court does have the capacity to issue an arrest warrant that is enforceable. But international law is always, always, always only as enforceable as the global community will allow it to be. So if I have an arrest warrant for me and I go to Benin, or I go to Sierra Leone, or I go to China, or I go to Canada, if the countries don't want to lock me up, there's nothing that can be done about it. Now, there are plenty of countries that will not lock up Netanyahu. But even Germany, which is Israel's ally, they've been carrying the water for Israel for a long time. They're saying we have to impose the international order. And this is an important step forward because historically, it's the African countries that have the ICC imposed upon them. It is the global South, the so-called third world, that has the ICC imposed upon them. But now, a Western power is being implicated. The client state of an Western power is being implicated. Now, it ain't just the ACC anymore. It's not just the African Criminal Court. No. Now, Netanyahu is mixed up in this. Israel's mixed up in this. The United States, by proxy, is mixed up in this. This is an important moment. And the fact that Germany is saying we will lock your behind up tells us 2 things. One, Netanyahu ain't going to Germany as long as there's a warrant. And 2, the global order might just be changing just a little bit.